today we are talking about hitting high targets, right? But, well, when I came up with the topic, I was thinking, okay, we're going to talk about hitting high targets. But I think it's more appropriate to talk about hitting targets, period. Just hitting targets. So I think there's 3 levels of targets. There's high level targets, eye level target, eye level, which is like right in front of you. And then low level. So this is high level, not eye level. My bezel, courtesy of Audemars. You know what I mean? Where's that from? Y'all don't know nothing about no JC. All right, but we're going to talk about high level, eye level, and then low level. Now, wherever your target is, that is 100% okay, but I think it's important that we at least discuss the pros and the cons of each. High level, eye level, and low level. How about, just put it in the chat real quick. Are you a high level? Are your targets high level? The stuff that's really, really hard to attain. I mean, it takes a lot to do. Are your targets eye level? Meaning, this is what I know I can do. I have the ability to knock this out. It's not going to take too much, right? Or low level targets. Remember, in Atomic, and neither one of them's bad. Atomic Habits, the author said, you should probably do the work until you feel comfortable. So it doesn't cross the line of feeling like a job in a business. He said, you should just work to a point right before exhaustion. Don't burn yourself out because then you won't be consistent, which makes sense. So I'm not mad at high level. I'm not mad at eye level, and I'm not mad at low level targets. But it's important. We gotta at least consider the pros and cons of each. So let's start on low level targets. There are certain pros. There are benefits to going for low level targets. So I believe Brian, when he first started, we got on here, you were going real low level, right?
Very low.
Very low.
Very low.
It was like a month. What was like the month goal in the very beginning? Very beginning.
All right. So I was
like a couple $100 or something like that.
Huh?
It was like a couple $100 or something like that for the month. I was
pulling numbers from out of the sky because I didn't know anything about targets. I had no clue about, I'm just starting in business. So I have no clue of even how to run, operate, or scale a business. So I was just saying weird numbers, and you was asking me, well, how did you even come up with that number? It's like, I don't know. I just came up with the number. So he was like, no, bro, that's not a way to find your target. And then you kind of, you just called me, you said, just set a goal. How many items do you have? Then I had to start looking into the inventory that I had. Once I started looking into the inventory that I had, I started to analyze how much each piece costs. And that's what would get me the number for me to find my target for the end of the month. Yep. So once I learned how to do that, I just kept repeating that process. And from the top of this year, this was from last year because I joined in top of November of last year. So at the top of this year, I developed the skill, and now every month I've been hitting my revenue goal. But I just
that's amazing because he definitely didn't answer my question. But that was good. I love the journey.
Well, I did. I did. You said
it was low level target. I just remember when you first started, the target was just super low. It was you have a product and it was like a few $100s for the month, right?
It was like make $20 today.
Yeah. It was it was just super low level, right? Which isn't bad because 2 people a week, something like that, right? But it isn't bad because it created a habit for him of, okay, I'm going at this low level target. I feel like I can sell 5 products this week. I can make $100 a week. That's low level. It's not going to require a lot. I mean, you got 5 friends. There's 5 people here that you can sell a product to. So super low level, but it works out. Oh, why would y'all? Hold on. I got to turn my airplane off. Is it working? I'm sorry, y'all. This is what I'm going to turn off. I'm bugging. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. Okay, yes. So it starts to develop the habit. And if you're not used to going after goals, I'm not mad at low level, okay? Because low level targets keep you motivated. They keep you motivated because you're consistently hitting your goal. Another pro to low level targets, you become successful. Everybody wants to be successful. If you set a target super duper low and you hit it, you're successful. I don't care what people say. 6 figures isn't successful. $1 million isn't successful. I believe just David's definition of success is hitting your goal, setting a goal and hitting it. Congratulations, you're successful. Another pro of setting low level targets is it just takes a little bit of effort. It doesn't require a lot of like go hard. You ain't even really got to do a whole lot of scheduling at low level targets. It's easy to be consistent with low level targets, and you can do it all by yourself. You don't need anybody else to hit low level targets. You don't need accountability groups. You don't need investments. You don't need ads. You don't need anybody but you making a decision that this is what I'm going to do today. Low level target. I'm going to go to the gym once a week. It's a low level target. The only person that can stop you is you. I believe so. Especially if you don't have like a really, really busy schedule. Now, I believe my goal of the 3 times a week is more eye level for me with my schedule because I got to map it out, but it's not super high level. It's low. So once a week is low level. That might be mid-level for somebody else, right? Based on your schedule. But anyway, there are cons. Those are some of the pros to low-level targets. Some of the cons to low-level targets is it's low achievement. You just don't achieve much with low-level targets. It's one of the only problems with low-level targets. You jump into a complacency zone with low-level targets. We got a couple other cons to it. You can't grow like that. With low-level targets, you simply can't grow like that with low-level targets. Some people set their target based on what they're going to do anyway. So you got a session with your friends in the gym. Y'all set it up. On Sunday, we all going. And we say, what's your goal for the week? You say, hit the gym. You already set it up. You and your friends are going already. You're going after work. The low level is just being consistent on doing. The biggest thing about low level targets is doing what you say you're going to do. That's pretty much the whole gist of low level targets. Being able to do what you say you're going to do, being honest. Setting low level targets are simply a character check. It builds character because you do what you say you're going to do. Okay. And remember, one of the pros of low level targets was you can do it all by yourself. One of the cons for hitting low level targets is you can do it all by yourself. It is an ugly cycle to begin doing everything all by yourself and not needing anyone. It's dangerous. So those pros and cons of low-level targets. Nothing wrong with low-level targets. And happy birthday to whoever that is in the chat. Because I just see people, I don't know who it is, but everybody keeps saying happy birthday. So I want to acknowledge that. Eye level. Let's go to eye level targets. So we talked about low-level targets. But what about these eye level targets? These are the things you can accomplish with just a little bit of effort. Like they are reachable. Okay, some of the pros of these eye level targets. And I'm not mad at eye level targets. That is, for me, going to the gym 3 days a week, eye level. It's not low level because it does require me to adjust some things in my schedule. I got a wife, a baby, things of that nature. But these eye level targets, it's something that I can accomplish with a little bit of effort. What can you accomplish with a little bit of effort? These are the things you know you can hit based on your skill set. It doesn't require much reaching, but it does require some reaching. It's going to require a little bit of work. Okay? Now, some of the pros. Let's go to the pros of eye level targets. you get to join the club of achievers. They'll let you in some circles if you're hitting your eye level target. If you're bumping your potential, right? So if Ryan, let's just say, has a clothing brand and low level would be $200 a week. Meaning I just gotta sell, I gotta at least say something to somebody. Eye level might say, okay, well, it's gonna require a little bit of work, but based on my time schedule, my money, all that kind of stuff, I can do $1,000 a week. That's eye level. Brian, have you ever made $1,000 in a week?
I made $1,000 in a day this past weekend. Yep.
Interesting.
In a day.
What?
Did it in
No
a
Oh,
cap.
day.
Jesus.
No cap.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I
So
got the
check
numbers
this out.
right here. It's right in my Shopify. I can pull it up right now.
Check this out. If he does $1,000 in a week, he already did $1,000 in a day. But now what you're gonna have to work on is $1,000 a week consistently. So the eye level, he knows he hit $1,000 in a day. What may take a little more effort is $1,000 a week consistently. I don't know if that's a stretch or not, but I remember when I was building, that was the new stretch. $1,000. I knew I could do it. I knew I could do it. It wasn't like super reaching for me. It just required a little bit of work. I knew I could accomplish it. These are eye level targets. There's some benefits to that. And if you start making $1,000 a week, you join the conversation of other achievers because you're bumping your potential. Okay. It's good to brag about eye level targets. Oh, hitting stuff that like requires a little bit of work, you can brag about that. Like me going to the gym 3 days a week. This is an eye level target. It's not low level. It's not like, yo, I'm just going to do 20 push-ups a day. That's super low level. But going to the gym 3 days a week, I put that on the gram. I brag about that. You can brag about eye level targets. I love eye level targets. It's almost like hitting the things you're supposed to hit as a serious entrepreneur. Low level targets, you don't have to be a serious entrepreneur to do certain things. Eye level, you have to say, yo, this is what I'm going to do, and I accomplish it. When you accomplish it, sheesh, you're lit. And one of the pros of high level targets is you get to experience incremental growth. So eye level, Brian, $1,000 a week. He might get to a point where he's consistent with $1,000 a week, and then we go to $1,200 a week. And we can be consistent with that because if I'm at 1,000, my next level is 1,200. Then the next level is 1,500. Eventually, you can make $2,000 a week. You're leading yourself right into six figures with the eye level targets because it's not jumps. I don't think between last year and this year, it's a little different. But for the first, let's say like 9 years of my entrepreneurial career, I haven't had any quantum leaps. It was all me hitting eye level targets. If I made 100 this year, I know I can make 130, then 150, then 200, then 220, then 250. It's just, I know I can build on that. Okay, another pro of eye level targets, goodness gracious, it builds character. This one builds character because now you are really, really slightly out of your comfort zone, not so far out where it feels super uncomfortable, but you're slightly out of that comfort zone. And it builds something in you saying, yo, this is my target and I'm going to go after it. I'm not mad at any of these. I got to be clear, low level, eye level, or high level. It doesn't matter, but we have to have some sort of targets. Okay. Not last, but you need accountability. For these eye level targets, you need accountability. That's a pro. That's good because you can find other people who are hitting their eye level targets, stuff that's not easy. You get to call your best friend or your accountability partner and you have a shoulder to cry on. How valuable is a shoulder to cry on? Put it in the chat if you ever had somebody that's going through the same thing you're going through and y'all trying to hit this thing together and y'all achieve it together and y'all went through blood, sweat, tears, y'all hit that thing and you are excited. That's a pro of it. Last pro. You'll be better than most. you'll be accomplishing more than most people. If you hit these eye level targets, the things that you see that you can accomplish, it's going to require a little bit of work, you'll be doing better than most people. Okay? Really exciting. Now, let's go to the con list. I'm going to start the con list of eye level targets with where I ended on the pros of the eye level targets. You'll be better than most. This is the true comfort zone. When you're hitting eye level targets, the things that you're stretching for a little bit, you are going to be succeeding so much more than everybody else that you get comfortable. And then you turn into the coach because everybody around you is on a lower level. They're not accomplishing as much. And I'll be actually, as soon as I'm done this, I'll be doing a video where I'll be illustrating how if you're like the top dog in your circle and everybody else is accomplishing things significantly less, let's just say financially, okay? There's a whole bunch of different ways we can play this. But let's say in business, because I teach small business entrepreneurship. You begin to pour into those that are on a lower level, meaning they're stretching to be you, but you're stretching to fit in, meaning dinner is always going to be on you. You'll be giving it away. They're stretching to you, but you are doing your best to make sure you fit in and you don't feel so far removed. And then we go into coaching mode. And it's really hard for us to grow when we're shooting for eye level targets, especially when we're hitting them. Dang, that's deep. Goodness gracious. Okay. Another pro of eye level targets. Con, we're on the cons of eye level targets. Ungratefulness can start to set in. I'm not going like super spiritual on y'all right now, but when you reach a little bit and you accomplish some things, you're very proud of yourself, which you should be. But then we start leaning on our own understanding because eye level targets, we can figure this out. We can remember times where we did all this work and we don't acknowledge the one who empowered us to accomplish the things that we accomplished because it was our hard work. Just something to consider. I don't want to spend too much time on that. It's just, I can remember a time where I can calculate what I did and I pushed and I stretched and it required no miracle. When I get into this the high level targets, it requires a certain level of miracle. The things that you can accomplish, ungratefulness sets in or arrogance can set in. Again, I don't want to spend too much time, just something for you to think about. It's just one of the cons of eye level targets. Okay. All right. Let's get on something else. You never find out your full potential when you keep going after these eye level targets. Eye level, the things that you can see, things that you can accomplish. You start going after those eye level targets, you start hitting them. You never really realize your own potential. You never see it. So one of my friends, you guys will see it in a minute. But I was talking about never made $100,000 in a day. Never. And I started talking to a guy who did $1 million in a day. And he said, yo, we can go do that. Let's go hit that. Let's go hit that 6 figures in a day, fam. So now we're putting together a program. We're putting together a play where we can do 6 figures in a day. I've never done that. But the fact that I'm getting out of eye level, I'm starting to see what I can accomplish. Can we accomplish this? And I started talking to him and asking, and this goes into my next con. You don't have to reach up. You don't have to reach up to hit eye level targets. You just have to reach within to pull more out of you, but you don't have to reach up for other people necessarily. but we're putting together a play, and I'm going to see what my full potential is. I'd have never imagined making 6 figures in a month. Golly. 6 figures in a year. Amazing, but 6 figures in a month. But when you do it, you're like, whoa, oh, wow. This is my potential. And it didn't seem like it was that hard, which means I can go again. All right. Okay. Last con. Oh gosh, it's 8:39. The last con is it doesn't push you mentally. Low level targets do not push you mentally. You have to do some consistency, things of that nature. Eye level, it doesn't push you mentally. It does take some mental strain to be consistently hitting your goals, especially things that cause you to stretch, but not like high level targets. Push you mentally. You've got to strategize at high level. Let's go to high level targets, okay? High level targets, the rewards are awesome. They're awesome. High level targets, the rewards, oh my gosh. It's hard to explain the rewards of high level. It's really the stuff that you don't believe right now that you can accomplish. The high level targets, like there's a slight disbelief inside of you, like, I don't think I can do this, but I'm going after it. And the more you walk on the journey, the more you start to believe it. However, the rewards are awesome. Another pro for high level targets, the pursuit is amazing. For what this makes of you to go after a high level target and be exhausted, I don't even care if you hit the target. I just hope that y'all go on this journey of setting a target so big that it requires everything. It requires more than you have. Another pro from the high level targets is it requires some miracle stuff. It requires miracle. Forget money. But setting a target to become a spouse or to become, I don't know. There's so many high level targets that you can put out there. But my point is, it requires some miracle stuff. To hit these high level targets, it requires a little bit of faith. A dash of miracle. I love relying on a dash of miracle. Some people call it a little bit of luck. High level targets require a little bit of luck. It's almost like a person has to come into your life at the right time. Something like the sea has to part for you to like walk through, and you're like, yo, my target is to get to the other side. This enemy is chasing me. It's like a million of us, and we got to get through. And the sea parts, you're like, whoa, let's go. I thought it was over. Okay. All right. Definitely high level targets build character. And it's freaking exciting, man. One of my favorite pros on going after high level targets is it requires more strategy. And once you get in the habit of going after high level targets and you feel the experience of locking in your room or locking in your office, have you ever had a high level target that you had to take a vacation for? When it's go time, if you've never had the joint so big where even if nobody's in your house, you got to get out of your house because you have to get into another physical location to get into another mental location. This process is exciting. It requires strategy. It requires brain, like I'm talking about your brain is at it. It feels like it's about to explode. You're going through these emotional roller coasters of, oh my gosh, I still truly don't believe that I can hit this target, but I'm going to strategize. I'm going to figure it out. And you realize how brilliant you are. Once you start to realize your own power, golly. All right, so let's get into it. I want to talk about how to hit them real quick. This won't take long, and I'll open it up. I want to get into just a couple points on how to hit these high-level targets. Okay, how to. Number one, you have to find a higher circle. You have to get into a higher circle. This is a good start because I don't know where you all are in terms of business, but God has blessed me to accomplish some things where you get this type of conversation every single day. And my goal is to continue to progress. That's why I tell y'all every play that I'm doing. If I do an event, I'm telling you why I'm doing the event, why I'm selling you a ticket. And I'm okay with that because I do everything with integrity. But you guys get to like see this. And then I bring in my successful friends into the morning meetup and you get to see how they think. That is a blessing. That allows you kind of be in a higher circle. However, you still have to go get your circle. You have to go get to a higher circle if you're going to hit higher level goals. There's no way you can do it by yourself. I'm just saying. 2, you have to invest. You have to. If you're going to hit higher level targets, you have to invest. Now, my thing is investing. This is what Neo told me. So he just charged somebody $55,000. Well, he has a program, it's $55,000 to be a part of his program. Very valuable. I think he like built out the funnels for you and everything, right? You'll get that money back, no problem. But he said he invested the $55,000. He charged $55,000 because he invested $55,000 to get to the next level. So he now has a license to charge $55,000. He has a license to charge $55,000. This is what he said to me in a very disrespectful way. And if y'all talk to him, say, yo, Dave said you were super disrespectful because he disrespected me. He said, you can't charge $30,000 because you haven't invested $30,000. He was talking to me about a $30,000 program. And he said, you can't charge $30,000 because you haven't invested $30,000. You don't have the right or the authority to invest $30,000 because you haven't paid it yet. He said, that's why you don't have a $30,000 program. I said, I didn't want to do it. It's so crazy because I said, I didn't want to do it because the amount of work that I would have to put in to fulfill someone's $30,000 investment, I don't want to do it. And he said, you think that. He said, you think that's the reason you don't have a $30,000 program. It's because you haven't invested it. Crap. So you got to invest. You have to invest in yourself, getting in the circle. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to do my very best to sell you guys on the content creation bootcamp. I'm going to be asking you to invest in the bootcamp. I want to sell out the bootcamp in the morning meetup. So I'm going to provide a whole bunch of evidence for you investing. But if you ask anyone, I haven't asked them this specific question, anyone that's been to the morning meetup, I'm sure they'll tell you that most of the value was being in the room with other people who invested a certain amount of money. So if the bootcamp is $2,500 and you're in a room with 30 to 50 other people who invested $2,500, you're now in a circle of people who find value to invest. 2, they have $2,500 to invest in their future. That's a different circle. So I think Neil's mastermind is $7,500. The value is not, the biggest value isn't the information. The biggest value for me, is being in a room of people who invested $7,500. The relationships that you make in a room of people who invest $7,500, it's different. I went to the last mastermind. I think it was 5,000. I've made probably 15,000 from being in the room. And who knows, right? How much And if I went on another opportunity, I'd have made 100,000 just connecting with the people, because everybody in the room does cool stuff. And you have a certain mindset, value, invest in yourself to be in the room. So tomorrow I'm going to do my best to convince you to invest. Not because I want your money, but because I invest and I see the value. It's just it's a life hack for me. It's like the more I invest in myself, the more other people invest in me, period, point blank. Anyway, let's go. Okay, so we're in the how to get these high level targets, find the inner circle, okay? You have to invest. Number 3, you have to take the first step. Let's just start planning it. Shouts out to my homie Ashley. We was on our 4th Power Mastermind. And she took this first step of putting together a program, and she sent me a DM of buying the website. Okay, I'm about to put together this program. You have to take the first step. The next how-to, you have to understand that hitting the goal is not the reward. Mindset stuff. When you're going after high-level targets, you have to understand, if you want to hit the high-level target, you have to understand that hitting the target is not the reward. The target is not the major reward. I promise you. It's the journey and the process. And I hate saying it because it sounds so cliche. Enjoy the process. It's the journey. I hate saying it because it sounds so cliche, but only the people who say the quote and live the quote understand the quote. Only someone that's like going through this process, it's the journey that nobody can take away from you. So in your mind, if you're going to hit high level targets, you have to understand, okay? You have to understand that the reward is not the reward. The reward is the process. Okay. Next, you're going to have to map it out and break it down into small chunks, into small parts. Big goal, broken down into small parts and in actionable items. So the goal may be, let's just say for easy numbers, the goal is $3,000 a month. That might be a super stretch goal for you. Never made $3,000 a month. In a business, most you've done $200, $300, $3,000. Well, $3,000 is a big number, but when you realize that it's only $100 a day, it's not as big and scary. Let's bump it up. Let's say I want to make 6 figures though. But really, 6 figures is only $8,300 a month or $275 a day. So now you have to do what you've done in a month in a day. If in your business, the most you made is $300, let's say. And you're stretching. This is high level. This is like a high level goal for you. 100,000. Wow. $275 a day. If you want to make $250,000, it's like what, $600 a day? But forget the $600 a day. Forget that. Now we have to figure out how to sell 6 $100 products, or we come up with a $600 product, and our goal is to find somebody that's super interested every single day. And it's going to take the strategy. It's going to take a pixel on your website, and the pixel on your website, shouts out to my man Dave, he's teaching me all this stuff. The pixel on the website tracks the behavior, it tracks the people and their behaviors, which might take 30 days for you to feed the pixel, the type of person who's going to get to the website. You got to start talking their language and retargeting, but really getting to a point where you can have a $600 product, you sell 1 a day, so you can make this $250,000. I think that's $600 a day. I don't even know if that's right. I could be making that up. But let's just say it's $600. That isn't the biggest, like making the $600 isn't how you make the $600. How you make the $600 is you map out, okay, $600 a day. How many pieces do I need? I need to set up an email sequence. First, I need to learn what a freaking email sequence is. So I got to buy a course. I got to buy a $200 course or a $500 course to try to figure this stuff out. I got to learn how to run ads. It might take you 6 months to learn how to build a funnel, how to run ads, how to create an email sequence, how to set up a pixel. It might take you 4 or 5 months to figure that part out. But once you figure it out and you lay the foundation, you'll be able to make $600 a day. You'll make $250,000. And that big stretch goal, you just broke it down.
Think of a number in your head. How much do you think it would cost for me, a pretty successful entrepreneur, to coach you every single day, to give you all of the game? I'm talking about every day for an entire year, Monday through Friday. I'm on a virtual call teaching you how I've done the things that I've done, and me updating you every single day in real time on all the business moves that I'm making, all the negotiations that I'm in, everything that I'm doing before I actually do it. How much you think? And let's say Monday through Friday, and then on Thursdays we do a Q&A where not only do you get a chance to ask your questions and get them answered, but you get to hear the answer from a whole community, hundreds of other people on a call, and you get their answers that are going to help you too. What do you think? And once or twice a year, get together, free conference that we all get to come to, and you get to meet all these people that you see virtually. How much do you think that would cost every single year? 10,000? Not even close. It would probably be closer to 100,000, because it's just, my time is valuable, and to give you the sauce that's going to help you make millions, I'd have to charge you at least 100,000. But what I've done is created a community where you get the advantage of learning how to become an entrepreneur. You get to network with hundreds of entrepreneurs every single day. You got a community that keeps you inspired and excited. You will read a book club with us every single day. We'll also have an event where we come together once or twice a year for free. We do all of that for $399 for the year. Go ask somebody. I've got receipts of things that I built over the last decade, okay? I am willing to coach you. $399 for the year. Listen, go to themorningmeetup.com or click the link in this video. Let's get back to the episode, but keep in mind, I want to coach you. Let's get started.
It's important to know what you really, really want and why you want what you want. I mean, I remember one time I said I wanted to be a billionaire, but I realized I was only really saying that because billionaire sounds cool. And I think one of my other friends that they were just going so hard, their goals, they're like, yo, we could be a billionaire. We had a conversation about it. And I was like, oh, great. We could be a billionaire. My goal is to be a billionaire. But now that I think about it, I don't necessarily desire to be a billionaire. Yeah, my voice said it. It was so funny. And some people might be offended by it. We was talking about, he's like, yo, $1 billion? He's like, yo, you can't even get into heaven if you make $1 billion. It's just too much. It requires too much of your time. I thought it was funny. It's like, it's just too much money. It's just too much. Anywho, I think today we're going to identify what we really want, what we really, really want. Okay. So I have this thing, and I kind of talked about it on the morning meetup. I talked about it at the content creation bootcamp, but I never really had a chance to go all in on this one specific concept. Okay. It's the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay. So if you came to the bootcamp, you know what I'm talking about. If you've been in the morning meetup for a while, you know what I'm talking about. I actually created this. I was at a high school one day in California, in Los Angeles, actually. And I'm preparing to see what I'm going to say. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to ask the kids a bunch of questions. And we went through the who, what, when, where, why, how. And I had them put it in order of importance. So who, what, when, where, why, how. We're gonna answer all these questions, but I'm going to restructure them in a different order in how you should ask them. I think the first question in the who, what, when, where, why, how is where. Where do you want to be? Now, there's a couple different destinations we need to take into consideration when we start talking about where we want to end up. I think a financial is a where, right? Like what is the destination? We can substitute where for destination. Where do we want to end up? What is the vision for ourselves? Let me just make sure everybody's muted. Okay, cool. What is the destination? Financially, where do you want to end up? Let's say by the end of the year. We can say your lifetime financial goals. I think this question deserves a lot of attention. sometimes we're spinning our wheels because our activity does not line up with what where we really want to be. I said I wanted to make $1 million a year. And I was selling t-shirts. And I was frustrated at the fact that I wasn't making $1 million. But then I realized at $25 a t-shirt, how many t-shirts do I have to sell to make $1 million? I think I might be in the wrong vehicle because I just acted. I just picked an activity and I was frustrated that I wasn't where I wanted to be, but it was based on the fact that I picked an activity because it was a good activity, but not necessarily that it was going to get me to where I wanted to go. So it got me to where I wanted to go when I wanted to make six figures, $100,000, $25 t-shirt. I just got to sell 11 a day. That I could do. But can I sell 100 a day to make $1 million? We'd have to 10x the activity, right? I don't know. So I think it's important to know where we want to be financially. What's even more important, well, you'll soon determine this. Where do we want to be spiritually? That's a destination, right? That maybe doesn't have much to do with each other. Where do you want to be financially? Where do you want to be spiritually? Where do you want to be physically? Physically, body wise. I have this vision in my head of where I want to be physically. Now, not super bulky. I really just want to get somewhere to a point where I can take my shirt off at a pool and feel confident about it. Right now, it looks weird. Now, because I have a personality, I'm not sure. All right, bro, it ain't that funny. Jerry Remy, golly. But I got this picture where it's nice little top. You know what I'm saying? I don't gotta have the killer six pack, but my joint is shaped like. I wish I could show y'all. It's like the top ain't bad, but then it comes down at the bottom. It's like this little. It's like I don't know how to like a hook. I don't know why it looks like that. Like a lowercase b. I'm shaped like a lowercase b. So the top is fine. It's just the bottom. But I don't want to be like that. So, but I had to identify where I wanted to be. You got to sit down and say, where do I want to be financially? Where do I want to be spiritually? Where do I want to be emotionally? Where do I want to be physically? Where do I want to be mentally? That's good. Let me add this to my notes. I didn't add emotionally. Cool. So where? Let's set a destination. Let's set a destination. Yo, y'all, it's too many jokes in the chat right now. Okay. Yeah, I need y'all to get serious. I'm being vulnerable and y'all roasting me in the chat. Okay. Golly. I thought we was in a bubble of family. I thought we was encouraging each other. You know what? Forget it. Let me move on. We're going to the who, what, when, where, why, and how. We talked about where. I want you to spend some time today, though, identifying really, truly where you want to be. The next thing is why. The next question in the who, what, when, where, why, how is why. But you have to spend time with going through the process of each one of these. So financially is where I want to be. This is the number I want to be financially. This is where I want my business to be, how much I want to have automated. The next question is, why do I want that? Why do I want that? So I said it, I wanted to be a billionaire, but then I asked myself, why do I want to be a billionaire? And I started thinking about it. I mean, for my particular lifestyle, there's not much I can do with $1 billion that I can't do with a few million. Me personally, it'd just sit there. I mean, you could give it away. That'd be cool. I read this quote and I adopted it that I wanted to spend the first half of my life accumulating wealth and the second half of my life giving it all away. Now I think I might be, I don't know where I'm at in terms of my half, but I want to spend the first part, let's use part instead of half. I want to use the first part of my life accumulating wealth and the second half of my life giving it all away. So I want to live in abundance, not so that I can stunt, not so that I can drive the cars that my friends drive, Lamborghinis and such. but I want to be a bigger blessing. I made a shirt that said, make $1 million, save $1 million, tithe $1 million. I want to give away $1 million. That's cool. Can you imagine giving away 10 million? I want to be in that position. But I think if we know where we want to go and we identify what the why is, why we want to get there, it adds a certain level of motivation. But the thing is, you got to go through all of them. Where do I want to be financially? Why do I want to be there financially? Where do I want to be there? Where do I want to be physically? Why do I want to be there physically? All jokes aside, outside of the lowercase b. The other day, it was yesterday or the day before, I'm holding my daughter and she's crying. And if I sit down, even holding her, she's crying. But when I stand up, she stops crying. And then I'll try to rock her. And then I try to like sit down a little bit and she'll start crying again. And then I got to get back up so she'll stop crying. I don't know why she does that. But my arm was tired. My back started hurting as well. So, hold on, man, because y'all had too many jokes in the letter. Can I be vulnerable one more time without judgment? Y'all roasted me about my body. I sat down. She started crying. And I was like, yo, you just had to cry because my back hurts. you just got to get it out, baby, because my back hurts, my arm hurts, and I'm going to sit down. So I sat down for a while. And she cried the whole time until I gathered the strength to get back up and she stopped crying. My point is, I want to get to a certain level physically where I can endure that and it's not a burden. Was my daughter a burden at that point? Dang, it's crazy when you think about it like that. So now I'm associating going to the gym and getting my physical health together so that I can play with my children. That's a good why, right? That's a good why. Not necessarily the pool. The pool is a strong why too, but it really hit me. I'm like, yo, I need to get better physically. It's a strong why. Mentally, where do we want to get to mentally? Why do we want to get there mentally? Emotionally and spiritually. I think it's important conversations. Okay. All right. We went through the where, then the why, and now we got to go through the how of each one of them. And this exercise is not going to be done in one sitting. This is probably going to be a week-long exercise. We're going to identify where we want to be, why we want to be there, and then how we're going to get there. How are we going to get there? It's important. So I want to make $1.5 million this year. Why do I want to make $1.5 million this year? So you can have some stuff automated, spend more time with your family, things of that nature. The question is now is how are we going to get there? We have to spend some time strategizing. What are we doing to get there? So let's say my number, we're getting to 10,000 followers on Facebook. Do me a favor. If you're not following my Facebook page, Social Proof Podcast, please, please, please do me a favor and follow that page. Please, at Social Proof Podcast. If you go to Facebook and you're looking for pages, go to Social Proof Podcast. You need to, please. It's going to be really good. You'll get great value. You'll get all the clips that you want. So you don't have to watch the whole hour and a half interviews. It's going to be very valuable, right? That is a goal that I want to get to, 10,000. Why do I want to get there? Because I know that I can make $50,000 a month on Facebook if I get to 10,000 followers. I know it. I'm very confident in that. It's just the way that thing works. But you can't monetize Facebook until you get to 10,000 followers on your page. So I need that. How am I going to get there? We got some strategies in place now. One is I'm promoting it everywhere I go. I just need people to follow. Number two, we just started running ads. We spent, I want to say, we got 200. I got to look back at the numbers. I think we got 180 something follows by running ads and spending $40 or something like that. So let's 10x that. I need 10,000 though. That's just a part of the how. This is a strategy. Physically, We know what the physical goal is. We know why we want to get to that physical goal, but now how are we going to get to that physical goal? Get a trainer. I talked to Brian in the morning, accountability. That's a part of the how. I'm going to get a gym membership. Goal, eat a salad every day. I don't know, whatever the how is going to be. But we have to go through that physically, mentally, spiritually, mentally. We want to get to a certain level mentally. I want to read, I don't know, I want to be more proficient in business. I want to read 30 books this year, let's just say, or 20 books this year. Why do I want to read 20 books this year? One, to say I'm a reader of books. That's really cool. Sounds really cool. A library of books that you read, really cool. But it expands your vocabulary, which expands, not expands. If you expand your vocabulary, you'll do less, you'll exert less energy. Because if you can't find the words to say, you'll substitute it with action. So emotionally, if you can't find the words to say, typically you'll act it out. And that's where we get people who are physically abusive, people who don't know how to control their emotions, and they get so frustrated because they can't find the words, and then they act and wind up behind bars. Because there is definitely a relationship, a correlation between a child's vocabulary and their likelihood to go to prison, because they can't find the words to say. So I want to be somewhere mentally. Why do I want to be there? So I don't live in a box. My world expands. I can think more instead of acting more. Now, how am I going to do that? Well, we're going to read a chapter a day in the book club. Congratulations. We're all doing it. It's important. Okay. So, oh man, 8:32. We're almost done. We're almost done. Who, what, when, where, why, how. We went through the where, we went through the why. Now we got to figure out the how. Again, this is going to take a couple of weeks for you to do, because you have to go through this process. You got to ask these questions for every single where, every single destination you want to get to. The next is what? What is going to be required of me? What's going to be required of you to get to that body that you desire? And is that okay? What's going to be required of you to make that six figures or that $50,000 a year or that extra $2,000 a month? What's going to be required of you? And is that okay? Do you have it? Look, when we started talking about that $1 billion thing, I started thinking, what is it going to take for me to make $1 billion? I'm not signing up for that. I'm good. I don't want it that bad. I don't want what it takes to do that. I don't want that type of pressure. Honestly, I mean, some of you might stop following me now because I'm not super driven to make the money like that, but I don't want to do it. It's going to take too much. Physically, where do you want to get to? And what's going to be required of you? It's going to require discipline. It's going to require you making better decisions when it comes to eating. And you might not want to do that. It just takes too much. Again, I did this. I was coaching when I was doing like one-on-one coaching. And the young lady, she wanted, it was talking about business, but she brought up, I wanted to get to this particular, I wanted to lose X amount of pounds. And in pure motivational speaker fashion, I say, you're going to have to give some stuff up. Let's start with not eating carbs. Let's get on a diet. Let's how bad do you want? I'm motivational speaking her. I'm motivational speak to her. You get what I'm saying? But I was like inspiring her. She said, I do not believe in deprivation. You only live once. I feel like I can get to where I want to go without the restriction of not eating what I want. Okay. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a requirement of you. And you're saying, I don't want to take on that requirement. I don't want to do it. I've done that. Let me not point fingers. I want to get in shape, and in saying it without saying it, I said, I don't want to do that. I convinced myself that I'm not going to the gym. I hate going to the gym. I identify with that. And I say, what it's going to take, I don't want to do it. But then yesterday, last week, my man told me about the green zone and the red zone I talked about yesterday. It's really good. Okay. But you got to go through that for all your wheres, all your destinations. That's why it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. Where do you want to be emotionally? You don't want to fly off the handle. What's it going to take? It's going to require you being in positions that are super uncomfortable, because you're only going to grow emotionally if you're in situations where you would normally act the way you don't want to act emotionally. It's going to require you being in pressure situations, saying, you know what, I'm not reacting that way. Not this time. You don't want to go through that though. Where, why, how, what is going to be required of me? Number 5, I think that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who? Who do you need? Who do you need? To get to these destinations, who are you going to need? To get to these destinations financially, who do you need? I think some of you guys answer that question, right? You say, yo, I need a community. So you join the morning meetup. You're here in the morning meetup because you know a part of your journey, a part of getting to where you want to go, you have to talk, you have to commune with other people, you have to see other people going in the same direction. You need some sort of coaching. That's a part of it. But let's go physically. Who do you need? I identified that I need a trainer. Some of us need to have a conversation with our spouse, and our spouse really give it to us the way and say, yo, I'm giving you permission to openly disrespect me if I don't go to the gym. I'm giving you permission to talk. I'm giving you the authority to talk to me crazy before we get into bed. Who do you need? I don't know. Financially, who do you need? You might need a coach. Who do you need? You need to go to more conferences. Who do you need? Who do you need? Spiritually, you might have to get an advisor from your church, or who do you need? I think I'm telling you, if you spend some time going through this process, it will be so freeing. It will be so freeing because now you're doing the work. And you're not just saying what you want. You're actually mapping out, strategizing your life and how to get to it. But we just say our goal and there's no plan. We don't consider who we need. We don't consider why we want to do it. We don't consider what's going to be required of us. We never consider like how we're going to do it. What's the strategy? We just say it and we put it on a vision board. And we think that if we put it on the vision board, it's just going to come to us. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Lastly, when? When? When are we going to start and when are we going to finish? When are we going to start and when are we going to arrive? When do we begin this process? Financially, this is where I want to go financially. I've identified the rest of the stuff, who I'm going to need, why, what's going to be required of me, how I'm going to do it, why I want it. Now we have to say, okay, when are we going to start? I'm going to start today, latest tomorrow. And when should I get to this particular level that I want to get to? By the end of the year, by the end of the week, by the end of the month, before my birthday, before my child's birthday. I got a lot of work to do physically before I get to my daughter's first birthday. I feel like she'll be at the height of energy or beginning to like kind of run around and want to play. And I want to be at a particular level physically where I can keep up. I want to keep up. Certain level financially where I want to have a house in both of my daughter's names. But when am I going to start? When am I going to finish? You want to have a certain level of money being automated residually. When are we going to start this process? And when are we going to get there? When do we plan on getting there? That's the who, what, when, where, why, and how. But again, you're going to have to do it for every area of your life. Every destination that you truly want to get to, I want you to go through this process. Just put it in the chat. Who's committed to going through this process this week? It'd be interesting And I just want to see, like, I just want the testimonials. I want to see what's crazy is I know you're hearing like the goals and all that kind of stuff, but there will be a change inside of you because you're going to realize a lot about yourself. You're going to realize a whole lot about yourself through the process. One of my mentors told me to get a business plan one time. And I'm like, I don't need no business plan. And then I use quotes from Facebook at the time, like, you don't need a business plan to be successful. I know a bunch of my friends, they successful, they ain't got no business plan. He said, I don't want you to get the business plan necessarily for the results or the fact that you're going to use the business plan. He said, I want you to get a business plan because I want you to get smart about your industry. He said, when you go through the business plan, in the creation of it, you're going to find out your target market. You're going to find out how big your market is. You're going to find the other players in your space. It's going to help you shape where you want to go, what's possible, who's doing what. It'll give you a timeline. He said, I just want you to do it to get smart.